Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingpastor.com.
Together, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again.
Good
morning, boy.
Good morning to you.
And let's get started with the tobacco smoking.
Merry December. If you haven't yet started watching and catching up on Tobacco Advent videos, do that, because we are 3 days in.
Yeah. They look
Posted
different.
one today, too. Don't forget that on the days that we post MMBClub videos, there's also a Tobacco Advent. So if you haven't seen that today, check that out.
So we're going to smoke Single Malt from Tewksbury out in Denver, Colorado. And so I'm going to... Still, this was from that sample pack, and I have to struggle to load these.
Single Malt, a subtle hint of the water of life from the Scottish Highlands, is blended with the cool smoking loose-cut Cavendish. This is the best whiskey blend we've ever offered, and is perfect with that wee dram before or after a good meal. We don't have any whiskey, so...
Smoke it. Before I got...
Use your words.
I got into... before I got into my relationship with Lane 1Q, I smoked mostly a tobacco called Rum Runner from what used to be called the Tobacco Wharf, or the Wharf in Dayton, Ohio.
We have been there.
So a whiskey or a rum flavored tobacco is something that I...
Harkens.
It kind of harkens back.
Brings you back home.
It does. Light your pipe.
Huh?
Telling them.
Oh. Now's the time. The time has come. Light your pipe.
Ah, very good. How was Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I mean, it was great.
I
was happy.
Why don't we talk about that on Monday's Tobacco Advent 3 days ago?
I was happy to win the turkey cooking competition. In fact, I don't believe anyone touched your turkey, did they?
Well, as of this moment, they haven't.
Just you and your oysters.
Oh gosh, we don't even bother to.
There's no reason.
Keep up pretenses here.
No.
Oh, so I have a couple things I want to share. You're thinking about Christmas time. I'm all about
already.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet. I mean,
I think I'm a tool guy. I love tools. I love tools that actually earn their keep in the shop. And so in upcoming episodes this month, I'm going to share some tools.
That's right. Last year we shared a kind of a December all-inclusive shopping list. Some of the cool things we've been using. I know that we've been doing a lot of that throughout the year.
Well, that's
especially
kind of
recently.
what started us on that, right?
Kind of, yeah. We've tried for the last few episodes to kind of veer from that, because we realized with the outdoor episode that we shot a couple weeks ago when we were carving pumpkins that the episode was pretty much just us saying, "Look at this cool thing.
I got this.
Look at this cool thing. Look at this. That's not cool." So we don't want to do that. We talked about it and realized then that we want to move away from that, but we still like sharing cool things when we have them.
Yeah. And especially when they're things that are so useful. So I thought, one of the things that I use a lot in my shop that I wanted to share with you is something called a Vix Bit. V-I-X. Let me show you. The S.E. Vic Company is the company that originally produced this product. I still always refer to them as Vix Bits, but there's a bunch of companies that make similar products now. But what this device is something that goes into your drill, and inside of this is a twist drill bit. There's a spring, and then this portion right here retracts, exposing the drill bit. Okay? So this goes into your drill, and what this is designed to do is to help you mount hardware that has a countersunk hole. So I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you're mounting a hinge or something, and the screw gets a little bit off center, and then it ends up throwing your hardware off. One trick that I learned quite a long time ago is I use two-sided tape, double-sided tape. The stuff I use is from Fast Cap, but you can use for this pretty much any double-sided tape that has very little thickness. You're not looking for carpet tape that has a foam back. Just something that is that's nothing but adhesive and a little membrane, okay, to hold the adhesive together. And I will use this to temporarily hold my hardware in place. So again, it's not wanting to shift around too badly. And I'm just going to fake this as if I were to be mounting a hinge on this block. All right, so there's where I'm going to pretend that I want to mount that. And then using this self-centering drill guide, and this one is an off-brand, I don't know if I got that from Harbor Freight or Home Depot or Lowe's. I like it because it's hex shaft on here. The traditional Vix bit, the traditional Vix brand did not have that, although they do offer them now, so you can stick them into your cordless drills and such. But the knockoffs came out with that first. So put that in here, and that's going to keep it from spinning freely inside the chuck, which drives me nuts. And this is a really garbage drill. I bought this with the plans of making a toy that's powered by this motor.
Really?
Yes.
How garbagey was it?
I think drill, battery, charger, and a flashlight. I think I paid $15 for it.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Where did you get that?
Garbage. Harbor Freight.
I need
Come
one.
on, it's Harbor Freight.
I need
absolute garbage.
I say this because I need my drill that I have only has the hex attachment. It doesn't have a chuck. I need a chuck for vaping stuff.
There you go. I mean, really cheap, $15. If it's not on sale, it's $18.
A trip to Harbor Freight is in order, I think.
I'm not sure what the voltage is on this. It's 18 volts. It's a NiCad battery, so it doesn't hold its charge forever like the lithium ions. I can charge one of my lithium ion DeWalt drills, put it back in the case, and a year later, it's still almost fully charged. These, not so much. Anyway, but what we're going to do is we'll put that on the countersink right there, and while this is spinning, that helps to guide it perfectly centered on that countersink, right? So I wouldn't recommend you do this in your hand.
You want to go to the hospital? Because that's how you go to the hospital.
But notice where those holes are drilled now. Perfectly centered, more or less. No, perfectly centered right on the countersink.
That's amazing.
For mounting hardware, I always use a Vix bit if I'm going to be mounting it with screws. Temporarily attach it with two-sided tape. I may choose to take that off now and remove the residue of the tape if that's going to interfere with finishing, or if it's sticking out beyond the hardware. I don't always remove the tape because sometimes you don't
need to.
You don't see it. And that's it.
How much did you say? How much these run? Like the Harbor Freight one?
I didn't. I would say the Harbor Freight one. I would bet you're going to get a set of 3 different sizes. Probably less than $10.
Dang. All right, so that's something worth having.
There's no tape. I was going to stick it back on the block, and I took the tape off.
That's definitely something worth having.
The genuine Vix brands are more expensive, but I've never had a problem with these. I've had some problems with these. They want to come apart easily. And you have to be able to take them apart in order to replace the drill bit. And you see, it's just a standard twist bit held in place with a set screw.
Oh.
And the other issue I've had
with
the Chinese knockoffs is, for whatever reason, the springs will want to come unwound. Yeah, so all of a sudden you're drilling and the bit will be sticking out and it won't retract.
Oh.
And that's because this is they've wound it wrong. I think it should be wound the other direction so that it's tightening as it's being used. So VIX is the brand that I would recommend. But if you're only going to use it occasionally, there's nothing wrong with picking up one of these inexpensive sets. They do sell them at Home Depot and Lowe's, and those are all the knockoffs.
Speaking of knockoffs,
let's not go back to the Mrs. Freshly's Swiss cakes, please.
No, Mrs. Not Freshly's. But at the dollar store 4 weeks ago, I got some chips, some Zapps Voodoo, and I just had to know what constitutes a voodoo chip. It's a New Orleans kettle-style voodoo.
Now, I said to Boy, we need to pick up some fresh corn chips, because the corn chips we have in the shop that again, are
Totally
great
stale.
for removing the smell of tobacco on your breath. They were stale, and so he comes back with these. These are not what we were looking for, son.
Well, I got some other chips. Too.
Okay, good. This is going to throw off the single malt tobacco experience, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad chip.
But it's got some texture to it.
It's a kettle cooked, so it's real thick and crunchy.
That's quite sweet, though. I'm surprised by that. It's got sugar is a fairly high ingredient on that list, isn't it?
High-ish. Peanuts, peanut oil, corn. Corn or sunflower oil.
Okay.
Sugar, salt.
Okay, so
After
potato and oil.
potato
and sugar.
oil, salt, or sugar. I mean,
Sugar, yeah. That's not bad, though. I mean, barbecue chips in general have a lot of sugar in them.
that's really, really good.
It was $1.59 on the package, but it was a Dollar Tree.
Right.
So everything at the Dollar Tree's $1.
I would eat those again.
I think I am going to eat them again.
I'm not disappointed by those at all. The other thing we got. Brace yourself.
Get those away from me.
Da-da-da-da. Paper airplane flying game. So, I looked at this and I said, this is stupid. And then I saw the instructions which say, you fold your airplanes, you stand 2 to 3 feet from the front of the game board, throw a plane and try to land it on the runway. Oh, I get it.
So it's not just paper that you fold into a paper airplane.
No, it's a game. But I understand what they're saying. I read this wrong in the store. This is a runway. I thought, when it said game board, I'm thinking darts. I'm thinking, well, that's stupid with a paper airplane. No. This is a runway that you put on the floor.
It's like playing
bocce or carom or...
Carom? Wow, that takes me back. What's the other game? Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. So you throw your paper airplane, which it comes with, and it comes with 2 instructions. It comes with an instruction sheet.
Look at that.
It's fancy.
So how many do we get? There's instructions on how
I want the green one.
How to fold your plane in a couple different variations. And it looks like there's repeats. There's a couple of these. 2, 4.
I want that one. This one's totally weird.
6. So there's 8 paper airplanes here.
This is a bang for my buck. Oh, you have to cut it out?
I don't know.
This one has pieces that need to be cut.
No, I'm not cutting nothing.
Begin folding this side up. Cut along the solid line is what it says.
This is going to be like watching paint dry.
Nah. This one has, look at that. Those are flames. This one's going to be fast, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know where to begin on this.
Well, there's instructions.
So, while we're folding our paper airplanes, there was something else I was thinking about the other day.
What's that?
So the other day, I was at Office Depot.
As you are wont to do.
I need to get some copies. Some copies made. And so I got the copies made, and I like to wander the store and just look and see if they have anything on clearance. Our Office Depot sometimes has just really good items up for clearance. The thing I don't like about our local store is they're really, really pushy sales-wise. They're constantly...
Need an instruction sheet.
Everybody you pass is asking, they'll do the thing where you go into the store and you take a beeline down an aisle. You see a guy over here, and he will follow you down the aisle like a homing missile.
And they have headsets on, right? They're
Yes.
talking to each other.
Like a homing missile, which my airplane has. You can see right there. And they'll hunt you down when clearly you just...
Can I help you? Can I help you? What can I help you find?
Nope, you can't. Thanks. Thanks. Good day, sir. And so they'll do that. So I hate going in there, but I go and manage it. But the other day they had a fountain pen, and it was on sale. This is a cross brand. It's a pretty good brand. Fountain pen. Retailing for $47. They had it on sale for $20. Came with 6 ink packs. And so I bought it. Now, as I was telling Dad earlier, for me, there are certain items that I'm drawn to. And it doesn't matter. I thought you weren't going to cut your plane.
I am going to cut it.
I see.
It's missing something important.
I see. It doesn't matter if I need the item or not. I'm just drawn to it. Sometimes I'll buy it, sometimes not. But for me, one of those things is fountain pens. I think they're awesome. There's something about them that feels manly
do you
and
use
executive.
A mountain pen?
I don't ever use a fountain pen. Never. I will buy one, and I will use one for a day, and then it drives me crazy because the way I write isn't for a fountain pen. I don't write in cursive. I don't write. My writing is very fast, and so I either end up with just a blob or end up just with scratches on the paper. In fact, yesterday, while I purchased this fountain pen, I had this fountain pen in my pocket, which I purchased a year ago and haven't had to replace the ink on because I haven't used it enough. I was carrying it with me. I had it while I purchased the second one. I don't know what it is. It's something that I'm drawn to. I think they're awesome. And the same is true for knives for me. If I see a cool knife, I'm going to look at it.
Flashlights.
I'm going to buy it. I have plenty of knives. I have more knives than I could ever need.
I think
have them.
I think about that with flashlights because when was the last time I was in the dark where I needed another flashlight? I've got a bunch of flashlights, but
You have one on your phone.
I'm so attracted to flashlights.
Yep. Pipes. Some people are that way with pipes. They feel that compulsiveness to get more.
Wait, you say that like that's a problem, though.
I didn't say it was a problem, but in particular, and with pipes, you smoke a pipe. I think there's a line between straight into the floor. I think there's a line where you buy something because it's practical, or you buy something that you're going to use, and then you buy something to possess it and never use it. I think it's that hoarding mentality you've equipped me with. Thank you. So for example, if someone were to buy up all of one type of pipe, but never ever smoke that pipe, that might be a similar circumstance.
I continue to get these leg cramps sitting here.
Really?
Yeah, I do. There's something uncomfortable about sitting on the stool like we have been.
Are we sitting on this stool? It's terrible. We need to fix this.
I agree.
As I sit here, folding an airplane for
I don't know if you know this.
I
used to write calligraphy when I was a kid. I think probably like around 6th grade. I got in my head I wanted to learn calligraphy, and so I bought a pen with a bunch of different nibs and some ink. And I remember one time we were camping at a KOA campsite as a kid. We were traveling somewhere on vacation, and I sat at a picnic table and was doing ABCs, but I was doing A. Did a page or two full of A's before I moved on. And I got obsessed with it. And I finally got to the point where I got tired of using the fountain pen and ended up buying a chisel-tipped felt tip marker, right? And could write basically the exact same thing.
A.
Yeah. And haven't done that in a long time. But there is something about that. Now, I have an interesting fountain pen story, though. Back when my wife's father owned a hardware store, we were in the process of cleaning out an old glass and wood display case that had pocket knives in it. And it had, behind the counter, it had some drawers way down there at the floor level. And it was obvious that no one had emptied those drawers in years and years. So we're going through this and finding old case knife catalogs and things that, had it been the age of eBay, we would have put them on eBay and sold them. But I don't even know where they ended up. But there was a newspaper that was distributed to people that were retailers of the Parker pen products. So Parker pens, still in existence today. But the newspaper was printed, I want to say it was in the 1920s, maybe it was 30s. But the main story on the cover, and that continued on, was the story of the invention of the ball-bearing type pen, as they called it, the ball-bearing type pen. And I remember vividly the story ending with some comforting news for people that were selling fountain pens, that while they think that there will be some selling opportunities for the ball-bearing type pen, they don't anticipate that it will displace the demand for fountain pens. Now, fast forward all these years, it's 100 years probably since that was written.
Right.
And you just bought a fountain pen. So, in a way, they were kind of right. It didn't totally displace the fountain pen.
But
there was the marketing person who wrote that article. I hope if they haven't been fired yet, they've been fired.
Well, I mean, that reminds me of the when we went to that Progress place with the Flexo glass.
Pioneer Village.
That's right. That sort of thing we talked about, where this guy said, look, plexiglass, they're fine. I'm fine with them as a company as long as they don't sell their plastics for chicken coops. Then they're not really a competition we need to worry about. The guy that invented what would become the polymer known as plexiglass, he invented it. Ended up, his company doesn't exist.
He allowed someone else to take what ultimately became the market.
Right.
For that product. Amazing. Well, I never would have thought that someone could package paper for making paper airplanes, and that someone would spend money on that. But
you just have to find the right someone, I guess. I gotta say, there's something about the paper. It's almost like it's been creased, but not really. Mine was really easy to fold on the lines.
Almost like it was made of paper.
No. I mean, abnormally easy. It wanted to fold. It felt like the shear lines were.
Hold that back. And if you don't know how to make paper airplanes, there's instructions for 4 different models, and you got 8 pieces of paper there that are really pretty cool. And if I were a kid, I'd love that for Christmas.
Yeah, this one. No, the one that I'm most interested in, looking at the package, is this one.
Oh, the one you have to cut.
The one you have to cut, because at least I think you have to cut. That's a Stingray.
I don't think you cut that.
No.
Yeah,
cut along lines A and B and discard. But it ends up being a. Look at the packaging.
What?
Yeah, kind of a
right there.
Diamond almost. All right, I'm definitely getting mine through the door.
Do it. You ain't kidding.
That flew really well. If only I had the runway. Unfortunately, my plane crashed and everyone is dead. Back to chips.
It happens. Yeah, I got teeth full of chips right now. How long have we gone on this video?
I don't know. Too long, probably. No. What do you think of tobacco?
That's all right. I bet that's, if not, we know it's not their top seller or their second best seller at Tewksbury, but that's a good one. I like it.
If I had the opportunity to buy that or their top seller, I'd buy the top seller.
Hobbit's Weed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's okay.
Hobbit's Weed's better, but that's not bad.
No, it's not. It's not, but we don't have terribly discerning tastes. So,
okay, the old Markwood Men's Breakfast Club, would you buy it again? Would you smoke it again?
I'd smoke it again, for sure. But again, one of the things that they told us at Tewksbury is that their shipping prices have gone up for whatever reason. They have to have it signed for and yada yada. So if I'm going to pay the high shipping price, I'm probably not going to buy this one. If I'm only buying the one. If I'm buying it with other things. Yeah.
You know what? There is one bit of news I wanted to talk about, and we can do this fairly quickly, I believe. As of this recording date, I think it was Santa Clara County out in California has passed a law, first of its kind, at least on the West Coast, banning the sale of flavored tobacco products.
Just outright?
Okay, outright. So kind of like what happened with cigarettes a while back. Now, no tobacco with non-tobacco flavoring can be sold. Now, that was the headline. As I read further, I realized if you are a tobacco establishment and you admit only people 18 or over,
right, unless
they're accompanied by an adult, if you are that, you can sell tobacco, shisha. This single malt, that contains non-tobacco flavoring. It's got malt flavor. Lane 1Q has got non-tobacco flavors in it, right?
It's gonna extend to e-cig stuff too.
Oh, sure it will. But the idea is,
even though it has no tobacco.
But the idea that they would ban this for sale in convenience stores, any place where the general public might go. You can't sell a tobacco product that has non-tobacco flavoring. What do you think about that?
I think it's stupid. I think I read a great article said when you choose to make the argument that children are the only ones that like flavors, that the argument then becomes adults that like flavors are children. And so if an adult says, I like flavors, I smoke flavored tobacco, well, you must be a child and not know any better. So it's a mind game where you can't even object to it, because in so doing, you're an immature person that has no place in this discussion. It's a very clever argument to make.
Well, and that is one of the reasons why I've never cared for people that draw that line of being anti-aromatic, right? And they'll say, well, someday you'll grow up and your taste will change and you'll smoke real tobacco. Dudes, I've been smoking tobacco since I was for 35 years. I like aromatic pipe tobacco. And yes, my taste changed. We talked about that last week. On things that I eat, and there are tobaccos I smoke now that I wouldn't smoke before. That doesn't make a person that smokes aromatic tobaccos less of a tobacco smoker, right, or childish. And I like the taste of vanilla. I like the taste of chocolate. I don't know that I want to smoke grape-flavored tobacco, so that one can go away. But there are some that do enjoy that. And so who am I to deny them that pleasure? So I was happy to see that at least it had the caveat and the exemption for pipe shops.
But that's not how it's reported, and so that's going to cause all sorts of other future issues. That's half of the battle. It's getting stuff like this properly reported, because now public opinion changes, and that's a great idea. We should ban it from every place.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing that has happened in New York. I think that's what they passed a month or two ago, that the flavored tobaccos are outlawed except for tobacco shops.
And try to find a tobacco shop. They're really getting few and far between.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of old news by the time this airs. I'm sure plenty of other folks have reported on that, but I thought it was interesting and wanted to talk about it. And let's get an opinion going. So what do you think about that? I'm not bothered by that as long as that caveat is in the law.
Right.
That I can still go into a pipe shop and buy.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? Like you say, they might close that. Just as in North Carolina, a pipe shop that opens today in North Carolina, you can't smoke in that shop unless it's a standalone building. You can't have a pipe shop in a strip center and allow smoking inside the shop.
Yeah, and again, it kind of like the blah.
Use your words.
What ends up happening is you outlaw this so that only pipe shops can do it, and then you make it impossible for pipe shops to open up. Or like the bullet restriction.
Yeah, you can own a gun.
You can own a gun, but you can't own one that can hold 7 bullets. And it turns out only 5 of the 50 manufacturers make that. So now you can choose one of 5. And putting those restrictions, sound reasonable.
And then we're going to buy up all the bullets.
That's right.
And
it sounds like a reasonable restriction. Oh, Well, the pipe shops I can still get the tobacco. And then they start attacking those, and it just becomes a whole
okay,
big
let's
deal.
go back to the guy that smokes the grape-flavored cigarettes and cigars. I don't know that I'm going to find that at my local tobacconist.
Right.
So, good point.
Which is why you need to grow your own tobacco and start
my own
making your own
grapes.
stuff. So that's it. That's it. Learn how to make your own e-juice and build your own coils if you're a vapor, and make it so that when those restrictions come, you can be prepared.
So like a prepper, but for
a little
tobacco
bit.
products.
Yeah, it's absurd that
grapes.
that we would ever feel like we would need to take those measures, but we might need to take those measures.
Self-sufficiency.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Nope.
All right. Yeah, so that's good tobacco. I'll continue to smoke that. And
Happy December. Make sure, if you haven't seen it yet, to check out today's Tobacco Advent. We're on day 3. Look forward to catching you guys the rest of this week. Remember, every day, new Tobacco Advent video. And
make it a great day.
make it a great day.